Now at 11, a former Trump administration Border Patrol leader is set to appear in Fishers.
If you believe in moderation, it's time to close the gates and let people marry in and merge.
Shaded racism, in all honesty, at its best, and I don't throw that word around lightly.
Tonight, the mass deportation push bringing him to central Indiana, and why that message has some Hoosiers ready to push back. Plus, protecting Hoosiers from the costs of data center projects popping up all across our state. Tonight, the move by our governor aimed at doing just that.
Another cool for July night with lows in the 50s when we heat back up in your forecast.
The haulers arrive in Speedway, a telltale sign that the Brickyard 400 is getting close. We'll take you to Main Street tonight for a pre-race parade and get you ready to navigate NASCAR's arrival over at IMS. And thanks so much for joining us here at 11 o'clock. A controversial former Border Patrol leader is coming to Fishers, headlining what organizers are calling a mass deportation rally. The private event is already drawing opposition. And as Alex Almanza shows us tonight, a counter march is planned for the very same day. Alex?
Yeah, Scott, August 1st will bring two very different messages to Fishers, one calling for fewer people to enter the country, the other standing with the city's immigrant community.
Daniel Pointer's group Save Heritage Indiana is organizing a private, invitation-only mass deportation rally. Former Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is set to headline with video remarks from Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith.
I think the event is going to be a fun and exciting opportunity for citizens to actually grab the steering wheel and direct the future of Indiana.
Pointer says his group supports reducing both legal and illegal immigration.
And we do welcome people from other cultures, unlike any other nation on the planet. So we are special in that regard. So then the question is, what does moderation look like? It's time to close the gates and let people marry in and merge.
Meanwhile, the group Fishers Resist is organizing a countermarch and vigil at Holland Park. The group says both Bovino and the anti-immigration rhetoric are not welcome.
Fishers has a very healthy and thriving immigrant community. We have one of the higher immigrant populations in the state of Indiana, and immigrants are a huge part of our community.
According to the Census Bureau, Fishers has a roughly 11% immigration population, above the state average of 7%. Long says the counter event will be peaceful and held away from the undisclosed rally location.
We're not seeking out the mass deportation rally. We're not trying to be confrontational. We're not hunting them down and planning to stand outside their doors.
Pointer says his event is private because he and others have received death threats.
I would love to have a rally in the public and we could discuss ideas, but that's not how some people operate. And sure, there are people that are violent on the right, but when Charlie Kirk was murdered, I saw a poll that said 20% of people under 30 think the murder was justified.
Fishers Resist says it does not condone violence, saying they don't believe anyone from their organization is behind those death threats. Both events are scheduled for August 1st.
And a spokesperson with the city of Fishers sent us this statement, reading in part, "We acknowledge the concerns of our community about the content of the event. The city is not involved in this event, and to the best of our knowledge, this is a private function occurring on private property." Now, Pointer says private security will be present and Fishers Police will not be providing officers. We've also tried reaching out to Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's office. He has not responded.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. Critical incident. That was the first description from IMPD about last night's shootout on the east side of Indianapolis. And now here we are 24 hours later. We know so much more.
We need more cars.
More cars, active shooting. More cars, active shooting.
Shot. Who's shot?
He's been shot.
The scene of that shooting was 38th and Franklin Road. 2 IMPD officers injured. The suspect killed. This was breaking news last night at 11. Police now tell us it all started with a call about a disturbance with multiple people and a man possibly armed. Officers arrived, making contact with a man and a woman, and then came that exchange of gunfire. Medics took the 2 injured officers to Eskenazi Hospital. One officer tonight is out of the hospital, and the other is still receiving treatment but said to be stable. Police tell us both are in good spirits. Medics took the 21-year-old suspect, Dallas Scott Coljet, to IU Health Methodist Hospital. He died from his injuries. Police tell us they found a gun at the scene. Tonight, we're working to learn what led to the initial fight that led to that shooting, and we've also requested that body cam footage from the responding officers. IMPD leaders are telling us they expect to release some of that video in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, IMPD officers, of course, train for this kind of scenario while hoping it never happens. We talked to Indy FOP President Rick Snyder today. He credits body armor, trauma kits, tourniquets, and a quick response for helping save the lives of those police officers. The department's officers also work to prepare for moments when they need to de-escalate a situation. But if things do turn violent, Snyder told us those next decisions come in a split second.
In less time than the blink of an eye, a person can draw a gun and fire it and violently attack the officer before the officer even starts to be able to respond. They're always behind that reactionary curve, but that's where they fall back on their training.
Snyder went on to tell us the FOP will be there to support the injured officers and their families in the ongoing recovery process. Tonight, Indiana Governor Mike Braun is signing on to President Donald Trump's pledge to protect utility customers from the cost of data centers. President Trump introduced that pledge back in March. Now, according to our partners at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, Braun joins 22 other governors in supporting this action. People who sign on commit to building or buying the additional resources and infrastructure upgrades to address the development's power demands. So here in Marion County, for instance, counselors are now considering a temporary moratorium on data centers to study their true impact. The full council is expected to discuss that proposal at its meeting coming up in August. Angela?
Scott, the high and low temperature today running about 10 degrees cooler than average, and it's going to be another relatively cool start tomorrow morning. Friday morning temperatures in the 50s, Kokomo 56, Shelbyville 56, 57 in Bloomington and Bedford. Friday forecast includes a mix of sun and clouds. We'll be at 74 degrees at noon, and high temperatures tomorrow similar to what we had today. That will put us in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. Now, there is a warming trend coming just in time for the weekend and early next week. I'll cover that in storm chances in the 7-day.
All right, sounds good, Angela. Thanks. It is almost Friday, and that means if you squint, it's almost. Let's talk all things Brickyard 400. That's because the action starts in earnest tomorrow. It's practice day for the drivers, and fans can watch it. Tickets are $25. Gates at Indianapolis Motor Speedway open at 10 o'clock Friday morning. They close at 2. The practice for the Pennzoil 250 gets underway at noon. Brickyard practice gets underway at 1. Quals are Saturday starting at noon, and then the green flag for the Brickyard 400 drops Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. But the excitement is already building. Tonight, photojournalist Phil Gowell takes us to Speedway. That's where NASCAR fans descended on Main Street for a night of horsepower, hype, and haulers.
Growing up here, this is just kind of like second nature. This is home to me, hearing that sound. If I don't hear it, I feel out of place.
It's amazing how they got all these trucks on this one road.
I've been here for all the Brickyards. Nothing like the atmosphere coming out and being at the track.
The hauler parade is a big deal, not just here in Indianapolis, but for NASCAR in general.
This is Brickyard right here, Brickyard 400. This is what we come for. I've got brothers, I've got nephews here. I mean, we're multi-generational now. We just love it.
Yeah, what a fun event. Well, the name Jeff Gordon, as you know, is synonymous with the Brickyard 400. And today, the legendary race car driver stopped by the IMS Museum to see the exhibit celebrating his career. Now, the exhibit opened this summer and showcases every era from his roots as a quarter midget driver to racing sprint cars as a teenager to his unrivaled stock car years. Jeff Gordon's a 5-time Brickyard champion, including the inaugural race back in 1994. He grew up in Pittsburgh and graduated from Tri-West High School. We got a chance to talk to him today for his musings on getting the museum treatment.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm blown away. It's pretty emotional, and you know, to see it all laid out in one place with so much memorabilia that's been held on to or preserved. You know, for all those years that I told my parents, why are you still holding on to that? I'm really glad that they held on to it.
That Jeff Gordon exhibit features a bunch of his cars, helmets, and some never-before displayed memorabilia. It'll be open until February. It is a sport where there are flags on every play, a twist on football tonight that is only growing in popularity. This evening we want to take you to Grand Park. That's where the best teams from all around the world are locked in and making a run for a championship. Angela?
Scott, highs on Friday near 80 degrees. Warmer this weekend. The numbers and storm chances in your forecast.
And a new charge filed in connection to that crash that killed boxer Hannah Rapp. Tonight we want to dig into the court documents now shedding light on what happened just before that deadly collision. We'll step aside and be right back.